Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh be the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. Yahweh Shai be the name of his beloved Son, who the world really calls Jesus. It's the brother Yair Radada, WFI Indiana. Can't come into y'all with a quick cold cut through the spirit. Simply going into, it's Juneteenth, but you still in captivity, right? It's so-called Juneteenth, but guess what? You are still in captivity. You are still in slavery. You are still under subjection. You understand? You are not free. In any way, shape, form, or fashion, you are not free. That house you paying down to eventually try to own, guess what? Property taxes still got to get paid. You understand? And don't pay them, guess what? They can still take it from you. The business that you kind of got on the side, guess what? You're getting it from your oppressors. All right? That car, you understand, you think you own, guess what? You still got to get insurance. And don't pay your insurance to get pulled over. Hey, it might not be too good. You understand? You try to leave, you got to get a pass, right? A passport in order to leave. And then you say, okay, boom, you want to go to your to our homeland. Guess what? It's defiled. It's defiled with folly, madness, vanity, vexation, the spirit. You'll go over there and get vexed, right? They getting bombed left and right. It's up wars of the people. You understand? Missiles hitting the earth, missiles hitting buildings over there, right? Divided. It's still got the blood of our forefathers and foremothers over there under the soil, man. Right? It's allotted into the hands of the wicked for this point in time. Ran by the wicked. You in this land that we know not of. Right? This is not freedom. This is not freedom. No matter how hard you party for so-called Juneteenth, guess what? When after you get done partying and you sober up and you wake up in the morning, guess where you gotta go? You gotta go to the plantation. You gotta go to work still. Right? You gotta put your shoes on, your uniform or your hard hat, right? Or your clothes on, your sweats, whatever you go to work in, guess what? You still gotta go to work. Still gotta pay bills. You understand? Still gotta pay taxes to an economy in a nation that ain't yours. You helping build up an economy in a nation that is not yours. A landmass that they took from your brothers and sisters and renamed it, called it after what they wanted to call it after, and took over the whole Aegean. This is slavery. This is captivity. This is captivity. And if you feel like you're not in captivity, your mind is bad. If you say to yourself, hey, I am free, your mind bad. And we had a brother tell us at camp before, so a couple years ago, we had a brother tell us in camp before, he said, Osby's a free N-word, man. And he said it like that. He said, Osby's a free. So Jake mind bad. Eve mind bad. You understand? And you can't love this place, man. You cannot love this place. You cannot, you got Christians out here praying that the Lord don't destroy this place. Just folly going on. You got people saying, oh man, what the Lord doing? Hey, the Lord doing what he said he was going to do from the beginning, man. Let's get a couple precepts real quick. Let's go to the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8, the classic. It's the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach. And guess what? We still yet this day in our captivity, right? We got scattered, man. We scattered all throughout this landmass. We scattered not in just this landmass, but all throughout the four corners of the earth. It says, for a reproach and a curse. And that's exactly, unfortunately, what we are, man. We're looked at as a reproach. You understand? And guess what? We bear these curses, man. Why? Because of disobedience. Because of stiff neck. hard-headedness. The list goes on. It says, and to be subject to payments. Guess what? We subject to payments as a people. You got to pay. You got to, whether that's rent, whether that's mortgage, whether that's the rent you paying on your car note, whatever it is. Guess what? You subject to payments. Subject to payments. And somebody might say, well, guess what? Everybody gotta pay. Everybody subject to pay. Well, guess what? That, like I said earlier, the taxes and stuff that that these so-called Americans, Esau pays, he's paying that toward his own country. He's paying that to build up and to uplift his own country. You paying it because guess what? You got to. That's why you paying it. You paying it because you don't got a choice. You're not benefiting from it. This is not your kingdom. They stole it from you already. And now they forcing you to help build theirs up through taxes. The Lord even spoke about that real quick. We're going to go back to Baruch, but let's go to, let's get the book of Matthew chapter 17. This is not going to be long. It's going to be short. This is just a PSA, public service announcement, man. It's the book of Matthew chapter 17 and verse 24. It says, and when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money is basically another way of saying taxes, right? Tribute money came to Peter and said, doeth not your master pay tribute? He said, yes. And when he was come into the house, Yahushua prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? And whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Meaning, who do they ask taxes from? Are they making, you know, their own people get taxes, or is it the strangers that get taxes? Right? Let's see what he said. It says, verse 26, Peter saith unto him, of strangers. Yahushua saith unto him, then are the children free. Meaning, guess what? At the end of the day, if you are have to forcibly pay, you understand, taxes to a nation that is not yours, to a kingdom that is not yours, that's slavery. That's captivity. He said, then are the children free, man. Right? The children free. But guess what? Those strangers that's in that land, guess what? They're not free, man. Right? And really, that's going into the Romans walking around, you understand, collecting tribute money. Right? Or you may have had your own people that was collecting the tribute money. You understand, that dealt with the taxes and different things like that. But guess what? That's them working for, you understand, the quote unquote government, or working for Rome. And they had to do that as a job. But that money is not going to them. That money is going to who? That money is going to the Romans during this time period. So but they own people, guess what? They wasn't held to the same standard paying taxes at the rate that we was, right? That the Israelites was. So look, at the end of the day, guess what? You building up a country and a nation that ain't yours. You didn't ask for these different buildings to be built. You didn't ask for a new stadium. You didn't ask for all this different stuff, man. Right? Our homeland over there on the other side of the earth. And guess what? That land is being defiled. That land is being overrun by the damn heathens. Right? Let's go back to Baruch. All right, let's go back to Baruch. All right, let's finish reading that. Right? This is Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. Right? It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. Right? Why? And like I said, because of disobedience, departing from the Lord. The Lord told us to go right. We said we wanted to go left. You understand? The Lord said, follow my commandments. We was hard-headed and said, we want to see what they doing. The Lord said, I'm your king. We said, hey, we want another king. Disobedience, man. And guess what? We still suffering from it to this very day. Understand, you are not free. You are captive, man. You are held captives. You understand? You are held captives. All right? Let's go to the book of Ezra. Chapter 6. And I get right to the point. All right? This is the book of Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 19. Right? This is when they you know, they were building up the temple. And in building up the temple, you know, when they were keeping the Passover, right, this is what they said, right, when they finished, right? This is the book of Ezra chapter 6 and verse 19. It says, and the children of the captivity kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. So what is it saying? It said the children of the captivity, meaning what? They were captives. Now when you read on, it said, when you read a little bit further down, it talks about how the children of the captivity, you understand, they came out of captivity. But guess what? Let's go to the book of Nehemiah, right? Nehemiah and Ezra are not that far apart. You understand? They were captive to the same Persian and Mede. They both lived during the time of the Persian and Mede captivity. You understand? Which was from 539 BC, you understand, till about 333, 331 BC. You understand? But the point is, during this time period, they both, you understand, were under the captivity of the Persian and Medes. Right? This is the book of Nehemiah chapter 1, and we'll start at verse 2. It says, and Salakia, that Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped. It said, so the Jews that had escaped, right? It says, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. So Nehemiah is asking, you understand, he's inquiring about those that escaped, you understand, to Jerusalem. Right? Other different parts. Maybe he inquiring to them, hey, are they all right? What's going on? Etc. etc. Let's see what he said. Verse 3, it says, and they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. You see that? So they understood what? They were in captivity still. Yeah, guess what? Yeah, they left out of the land of Shushan. Right? They left out of the land that was being controlled by, you understand, the Persian and Medes. Even though at this time it's pretty much the whole Aegean was controlled by the Persian and Medes, right? But they left out of Shushan and went, you understand, back to Jerusalem. But in going back to Jerusalem, guess what? Hey, it was still down bad, man. It was still down bad. He said they're in great affliction and reproach. The walls burnt down, the gates burnt down, broken down, so on and so forth. It says, verse 4, and it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Why? Because he understood that his people was in great affliction. He understood his people wasn't free. That's much like how Jake is now and Eve. Jake and Eve think they free because they got a car, they got a crib, and they got a job, they got some money in their pocket. They think that means freedom. But the reason why Jake think that's freedom is because, and I say this all the time, the reason why Jake and Eve think they free now, because they can walk up the sidewalk and walk downtown and do this and entertain themselves with comedy shows and all this other different stuff, is because Jake and Eve don't understand what they had once before, man. They don't understand what we had once before, when we were governed by ourselves, when we had our king. You understand? They don't understand what we had during the time of King David, during the time of King Solomon, Jehoshaphat, Joaz, right? Josiah, Hezekiah. They don't understand what we had during that time. They don't understand that we had the house, Solomon's house, which was made out of pure gold. The temple, you understand, made perfectly, man, according to the blueprints, right, of the Most High God. They don't understand that we had these. They don't understand that we didn't have to worry about having to work on the Shabbat, man. They didn't have to worry about working on the Shabbat. They didn't have to worry about the air being polluted from factories and different stuff like that. They didn't have to worry about, oh yeah, my red my lady, she got to go to work, then I got to go to work. We got to figure out how we going to watch the kids and this and that. And all right, she got to work this schedule, I got to work this schedule, so it can offset. They didn't have to worry about this type of stuff, man. They didn't have to worry about not being able to keep feast days. They didn't have to worry about not being able to keep a feast day because they got to go in, they got called into work, so they can't congregate, right? They didn't have to worry about that stuff. They didn't have to worry about PTO and trying to save up PTO just so they could keep the damn feast days, man. And that's on the truth level. They ain't even talking about, you know, if you in the world. We didn't have to worry about this different stuff. We didn't have to worry about the damn police coming through. Then they hit the little thing, they hit the little button, whoop, whoop, whoop. Jake scatter like roaches. Jake just run everywhere. Jake don't know what's going on, but he see the police and they hit the sirens, and Jake shooting dice, and everybody scatter, everybody run. You didn't have to worry about that in your kingdom. You didn't have to worry about, you understand, somebody trying to break in your crib. You had to worry about paying the damn whatever bills, man. You didn't have to worry about these different things. You didn't have to worry about the stress that we deal with and go through now. Guess what? When we had righteousness reigning throughout our kingdom, right? When we had righteous kings set up, you understand? Guess what, Jake? You had your own army, you had your own government, you had your own laws, you had your own landmass. You had all these different things. But guess what? Now you don't got none of that no more. You don't have an army. You don't got a government. Your laws, you barely could keep them. Right? Jake better at keeping the laws of the land than they are to keeping the laws of the Most High God. Guess what? PSA announcement. You are not free. Yes, this is Juneteenth, but guess what? You still not free. Still not free. You understand? We're not going to be free from these different things until our king come back, man. Until our king come back. All right, let me get this precept real quick in Ecclesiastes, right? The classic. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 7. It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. So a wise man will be mad at the oppression of his people. Right? He'll be mad at the oppression of his people. And it don't have to be the only time he get mad is when somebody get damn shot, man, or somebody get their damn neck stood on for 9 minutes, or they brothers and sisters getting deported. A wise man doesn't have to wait until stuff like that happens in order to be mad at oppression or be able to understand that he's oppressed. You should already know. And if you didn't, and you seeing the things that's going on now, hopefully you do know it now at this point. What more got to happen for Jake to understand you are not free? You are still oppressed. You are still in captivity. What more got to happen? Esau doing everything right in your face. And Jake's still going to go to the damn strip club. Jake's still going to go and do his thing and think that he's free. And lean upon his own understanding. But it's all good though, because the Lord, guess what? The Lord, right? Our King, when our King come back, he gonna set everything straight, right? Through the Spirit and power, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. But the point is, what? You are not free. You understand? This is Juneteenth, and quick history on Juneteenth before I close this up real quick, right? Juneteenth, right? It was in the 18. I think it was the proclamation actually got wrote out so-called, I believe that's 1863. It took them 2 years just to get it down to Texas, you understand, to the so-called union. You want to know why it took them 2 years, right? Allegedly because the messengers that was being sent down there, they was getting killed, right? Some say that they was trying to withhold the information so that they could prepare and do other stuff, or so that they could keep the cycle of hardcore bondage slavery going on. It took them 2 years. That's why it didn't become officialized until 1865, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it took 2 whole years just for them to put it in motion. And then guess what? Even after that, it still didn't get put in motion. Did it get enforced? Yeah, but it got enforced very loosely. You understand? It got enforced very loosely. And you are, I'm not gonna call you a fool, but you're not that bright if you think that when who was it? Abraham, I'm not gonna call that man goddamn Abraham. It's like when Lincoln signed that piece of paper, that did not just all of a sudden everybody just, the shackles and everything fell off, and Jake and Eve just walked free, and they gave them stuff. No, that's not how it happened. That's far, it couldn't be further from how it happened, as a matter of fact. Right, so they signed it in 1863. It didn't even get down to Texas, to the Union, until 1865. And then even from that point, they still didn't want to let you go. And still didn't let you go. Right, we still in captivity. We still in bondage and slavery, man. Right? And some would say this is probably worse spiritually, because Jake so destroyed, Eve so destroyed. Guess what? They don't need to put chains and shackles on you no more. We so mentally destroyed as a people. You got people putting off the day, right? Let me get this real quick, real fast, because I got it. You get this real quick. In the book of Amos, chapter 6. Right? It's the book of Amos, chapter 6, and verse 3. Excuse me. It's the book of Amos, chapter 6, and verse 3. Man, this is a good chapter. But this is the book of Amos 6 and 3. It says, "Ye that put far away the evil day, and cause the seed of violence to come near." What does that mean? You put far away the evil day. You got people that don't want the Lord to come back, man. Why? Because they love this place. They love what it gives. What did we just read? Said, hey, a gift destroyeth the heart. Right? Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. And that's why Jake, because you got a car, a crib, you can go walk downtown, you can go to a beach, you feel like you're free, but guess what? You're not. We're far from it, man. We're far from it. They can still shoot you down and get paid leave. They can still treat you like a dog. You understand? They can still throw you around and make you feel small, man. Why? Because they understand that this ain't your kingdom, but guess what? You don't understand that this is not your kingdom. So that's why Jake they get mad and all upset and this and that. It's like, hold on, we in captivity. And the sooner our people realize that, you understand, and come to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and understand that our King, Yahweh, the righteous man, you understand, through the hand of the Most High God, Yahweh, he's going to be the one that free us, man. He's going to be the one that restores us back into our rightful kingdom, back into our rightful landmass, and set things in order, because right now everything is out of course. You got base men ruling over kings and princes and princesses. But it all comes back to why? Because of our disobedience, man. So we got to get ourselves together first, man. Right? We got to get ourselves together in these last days, man. Come back to the Most High God, right? And stop putting off and putting off the day of the Lord, man. Putting off the day of the Lord. Because you becoming a part of this kingdom. You becoming a part of the world, man. You love the things that the world got to offer more than you love the things that the Most High God got to offer you, man. But I'll be damned, man. The things that the Most High God got to offer, man, hey, you got to take that 7 out of 7 times, man. 70 times out of 70 times. 700 times out of 700 times. Right? So, Lord willing, brothers and sisters, continue to endure in these last days. Right? I know I did a lot of talking, but all praise to the Most High God. This is just a public service announcement. You are not free. You understand? But our King gonna come back and free us out of this captivity. With that, Kwame Shalom.